Hi, we are live. Hi, and welcome to Newcastle United Supporters Trust question and answer session with Greg Tomlinson, our new chair, and our new vice chair, Thomas Concannon. I'm Charlotte Robson, recently elected to the board, so I'm very excited about all the change. But before we really get things underway, I'm going to go over to Greg, who would like to say a couple of words. Greg, we can't actually hear you.
Great start.
Great start. I was on mute. Well, that's a brilliant start.
Well, I actually appreciate that as a host point of view because it is helpful for my guests to mute themselves when they're not speaking. But let's try again. Greg, say a few words.
Thank you very much. So thank you, Charlotte, and yeah, what a start already on mute. I penned a few words earlier today, so I just thought I would give a bit of an update from my perspective, having just taken on the role as chair. So it's an honour and a privilege for me to become the chair of the Newcastle United Supporters Trust. It comes at a time of such uncertainty in the world, but also in terms of the football team that we all support, that being Newcastle United. On the pitch, we're passive, stagnant football club that's going nowhere. No improvement on the pitch in the 18 months in which Steve Bruce has been in charge. And you hear a lot about that in the media. But as that banner down at Leicester City away a few years ago said, we don't demand a team that wins. We demand a club that tries. And that's what we all really want. A club that tries to be the best that it can be. Newcastle United, as it is at best dysfunctional under its current ownership. And I think we all want to see a change in ownership, something that seemed so close in the summer. Let me be clear. The Newcastle United Supporters Trust want the takeover to go ahead. You shouldn't need me to point it out and to remind you that 97% of our members are in favour of it going ahead. But the decision as to whether or not the takeover gets approval or not is not within the gift of football fans, Newcastle fans, to determine. Only the Premier League can determine that question. Over the last 8 months, the Trust has got the views of our fans out worldwide in local, national and international media. That 97% figure has been picked up so many times, from German to Chinese newspapers. Myself, the board, Alex as chair, very busy in those media duties over that time, standing up for Newcastle fans. We engaged, as a trust, we engaged legal counsel to write to the Premier League in support of the takeover in the face of reports of others doing the opposite. For example, other Premier League clubs and media companies. We were asked to apply political pressure and we did that. We worked with others to launch a platform and a campaign that led to over 8,000 letters to MPs with positive responses from MPs all over the UK, including the Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Chancellor Rishi Sunak. Not to forget the support from almost all of our Northeast MPs on all sides of politics. We also heard directly from Amanda Staveley, who thanked the Trust and explicitly said that a strong supporters trust can mean a strong Newcastle United. Thomas had 30 minutes in front of the Premier League CEO Richard Masters, where he asked strong and direct questions to get answers. You might not like or even believe what Richard Masters said in return to those questions, but it's an enormous positive and a testament to collective fan power that we could put those questions to him when no one else could, and we got answers, whether you like them or not. We were there to ask the questions on your behalf. There is no doubt that transparency is required from the Premier League. Fans deserve to know why the takeover was blocked, and we will continue to use all avenues open to us to do that. And we urge all Newcastle fans to do the same, pulling in the same direction. That leads me on to the future. Under the excellent leadership of Alex Hurst, as you can tell, I'm reading from a script. Yeah, it's gone a bit wrong. That happens when your screen goes off when you prepare something in advance. Under the excellent leadership of Alex Hurst, the Trust has grown significantly, and we are now one of the strongest and most respected supporter organisations in English football. It's my job, working with Vice Chair Thomas and the board, to build on that work going forward as we seek to build the most effective fan movement in the UK. As Jock Stein said, football without fans is nothing. And Newcastle United is at a crossroads. We need change, and seemingly we have everybody now united in that desire. But professional football is also at a crossroads. with horrific ideas such as Project Big Picture, it also seriously has to be asked if the Premier League, EFL and the Football Association are fit to regulate the game. Like others, I believe the government can significantly help an industry that has proved incapable of regulating and reforming itself. The current government has a manifesto commitment to deliver a fan-led review of football. This needs to be done, and it needs to be enacted in a way that truly involves fans. Football without fans is nothing, yet currently fans are the least concerned quite often and have the littlest say in matters which impact their daily lives so much. 2 weeks ago, we had the pleasure of hosting a live event like this one, but with Ian Mearns, the MP for Gateshead, and Kev Miles, the CEO of the Football Supporters Association. The big message from Ian and Kevin is that political pressure works and that fan pressure works. We've seen evidence of that recently with the scrappage of the PPTV, the pay-per-view TV Premier League games, following a coordinated response across the whole of the Premier League, started off just by some tweets from some Newcastle fans that really got going. And the message was clear. We can make a difference if we work together, and a bigger and stronger trust has a far louder voice and a far greater influence. On that note, I'll never apologise for the trust actively wanting to build its membership, because a bigger and stronger membership means a stronger and more effective voice. If you go and talk to the FA, the Premier League, the government, politicians, the football club, whoever it is in the game, with more people behind you, you have a stronger and more legitimate voice. We need more members, 50,000, 52,000 at St. James's Park, 100,000. We'll always try and build that up. And that's why previously under Alex's leadership, the membership fees were reduced to just £1 for a share and £1 per year for your membership fees. But equally, moving on, we don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. The board doesn't have the answers to all the challenges and the questions ahead. I was delighted to host over 70 members in an online meeting recently as we launched our council initiative. With more volunteers getting involved in the running of the trust and helping to shape it, we can build a far more effective trust for your benefit. So please get in touch and help us grow the trust. Over the next few weeks, I'll be sitting down and working with Thomas and the board as we shape the future direction, and we look to build on the strong platform and foundation that we have today. So thank you very much. We will, as a trust, continue to be our members' voice. But yeah, let's have some good questions and hopefully a useful session tonight. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Greg. Very well said. We have one question already. Can this bit be screen clipped and spread online? It is important. Yes, we'll screen clip that. That's a great question.
Or maybe I could try delivering it again without my phone turning itself off and me not being able to see where I've got to in the message.
You know, I think that added to its charm personally, so maybe not. Great, thank you for that. I think there are a couple of comments and questions coming in, but I think it would be helpful just to give a little bit of a hello from Thomas as well. Thomas, you are now vice chair. Congratulations on that position. That position didn't exist before, but we felt that going forward, having somebody up in Newcastle, right there in the battleground. I don't know if that's what I mean.
It feels like it at times.
Being a fan as well. Do you want to just give a little bit of a hello and about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Thomas Concannon, and like Charlotte's just said, I was recently appointed as the vice chair of the trust. I was obviously recently elected along with Charlotte in the recent elections back in October, and very proud as well because the organisation means a lot to me. Fan activism means a lot to me. I think we've actually got a voice in the trust. We can unite as a fan base and put our concerns to the right people. And that's why I'm interested. That's why I'm keen to help. It's why I'm keen to talk to as many fans, as many members as possible. And just really keen to push on and just improve what is an absolute mess at the moment in football in general, but also at Newcastle, in my opinion. It's long overdue, and I just want to try and help improve it. I suppose it's a difficult time for us all. It really is. We all want to take over, as Greg said, and obviously everything that we're going through at the moment. Football is normally our release, isn't it? And we can look forward to the game at the weekend. We can't even have that at the moment, and obviously the vocal minority aren't able to share our opinions in the stadium at the moment, and it's hard for everyone. And like I say, football's just taken a huge turn in the last 6 months and not a good one. Yeah. And we all have a job to do in the future, and I'm just really, really happy to be playing a part in that, and hopefully the role as vice chair and working with the rest of the board and following Greg, hopefully we can make that happen. Obviously, as Greg said, we don't have all the answers to everything. That's why we use the members. That's why we set up the council. But we like to think that we're in we've got a good standing point right now to hopefully make a difference. And I think we've seen that we can make a difference in the last few months. We've still got a long way to go, but I think we're in a good position. And I'm really looking forward to the future.
Totally agree. And really that's why I put myself forward for the board and have joined. I'm really excited about the possibilities that the trust has and the potential as well. But this isn't about me. This is a Q&A with our new chair and vice chair. Got several comments on the Premier League looking after the top 6. Those are sort of comments rather than questions. Totally valid. Get it all out. The comment section is there for you. Use it as therapy. But actually, Alex has asked a question, which I think is a really good starting point for us. Alex Hurst, previous chair, if you remember him.
Still on the board and still very important.
Yeah, still very much so. Greg's a good chair. I'm just a joker. Alex would like to know, in a perfect world, what Thomas, Charlotte and Greg would like from owners of the club in respect of fan communication. My answer is short, and in a perfect world, my answer was going to just be any fan communication. But in a perfect world, Greg, what would you like from owners of the club?
So in terms of communication, I think, like you say, any would be a start, but a cooperative relationship where we can work together for the betterment of fans, to have better outcomes on all things, from ticketing, travel. One of the saddest things we often hear under this regime is people travelling from afar, or even disabled supporters having issues, and the club just not being there because they've got nobody to help. Now, they do a lot of good work actually with some of those areas, but it's just that collaboration. And we're fortunate as the trust to see what other trusts do. I look at Tottenham, for example. They regularly have meetings with the directors at Tottenham on key issues, and they use them as a critical friend. The trust should be a critical friend for the functioning football club. And at Newcastle United, that relationship isn't there. We try a lot, but we should get more, because we can help the football club be better and deliver a better experience for fans, as well as holding them to account on other issues as well. And it's just not there. And that's the biggest challenge for the trust. One of the biggest challenges is we have to work with the current owners and the current staff that are there for the betterment of everyone, and it is very difficult.
Yeah, Thomas, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I'll just echo what Greg said, and one point he touched on there. We all know that the club is sort of run on a shoestring budget, that there's just not a lot of staff at the club. I think there's actually a lot of really good staff at the club who want to do some incredible things, and I think they're held back. One thing I would love the club to just realise is that they have so many fans with unbelievable expertise that they can offer for free to help. They just want to help. Fans just want to help. They want to improve the experience of a football fan and the things that matter to us the most. And they just don't want to liaise at all. And it's really disappointing. It's really disappointing, because there's some incredible people, not just in the trust, outside other fan groups, there's some incredible people, and it just feels like it's we'll talk to them because we have to tick that box, and it's very half-arsed, and it needs to improve massively and quickly. If we don't get a change in ownership, then we've got a real problem. We at the trust don't believe that the club are currently following the rules that are set by the Premier League for structured dialogue processes, and we just think that has to improve as soon as possible. So I think we would obviously love to have the say on the things that Greg said. I don't think we should have a say on who do we buy next transfer window and all that sort of stuff. Just the things that affect us the most. It feels like those decisions are made without any input from fans whatsoever, from people that are just work for the club. The best intentions are there, but it just feels like there's a lack of dialogue that could make things even better.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Greg.
So just playing with the mute button again. I think one of the things that we have to remember as well is that Newcastle United as a business and as an organisation is entirely dysfunctional. Operational staff, you've probably got around about the same amount of operational staff as most League One and League Two clubs. The board of directors is one person. The executive management structure at Newcastle United is not what you would expect of a multi-million-pound business. And that is a problem for everybody that works there. I'm sure, and it's, like Thomas said, there are some brilliant people at that football club doing the best job that they possibly can, and they want to do more, and quite often they can't.
Yeah, to me, it feels like Thomas said, I think really well there, that there are so many, there is so much expertise and this breadth of experience in the fan groups that would be really, really keen to engage with the club in a meaningful way and have this dialogue. And to me, it feels like low-hanging fruit for the club. How these are people who are offering their time and expertise basically free of charge. I'd sit and have a chat with them about stuff happily. And it just baffles me that sort of easy win, as it were, is not ever taken advantage of. This, I think, is a good question coming from Chris Cossey on Facebook, and there is quite a lot of chat about this. So, but I think this is reasonably succinct about the Newcastle Supporters Consortium Limited. What are we doing to link in with them? It's important that we pull together. We did put out a tweet this week a little bit about it, but I know that Greg and Thomas will be able to speak a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so I took a call, I think it was only yesterday now, the hours are going, merging into one the days at the moment, from Keith Patterson, who's one of the two leading the Newcastle Consortium Supporters Action. So that was great for them to reach out, and we wish them the very best of luck in that regard with their case and what they're doing there. And yeah, we encourage everyone to be united in that sense. But I think we have to also, and Keith certainly got this on the phone. We understand that what the Supporters Trust is and what we can do. We are a formally constituted organization with a set of rules and objects, that are written down and are, as a limited company in a community benefit society, and there are only certain things that we can and can't do. And yeah, we echo that call for unity. I reeled off at the beginning all of those things that we've done on the takeover in the last 8 months. So I think that that is recognized. Good luck with that. I'm not sure what else we as an organization can do. That is a legal process. Shouting about it on Twitter is not going to win a legal case, I'm afraid. But best of luck to them. And if they have other things they want to ask us, we're always here. We're probably one of the easiest organizations to contact. Our details are out there. Keith got in touch, and fair play for that. Is our position really?
Yeah.
Thomas, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, oh, sorry, gosh, you said Thomas, and I just talked over you. Thomas, go ahead.
Shocking. Um,
Terrible host.
I'm not muted, am I?
No.
No, I was before. That's all right then. I'm not doing a Greg. Yeah, I know there's been quite a few questions about this and sort of accusations made on social media that we're not supportive or anything like that. We want to see this takeover. We want to see transparency. We were the first ones that pushed the transparency angle. We were the ones pushing it right from the very beginning, and so it's not like our minds have changed overnight that we don't want to see this happen. For me, Christ, I think they've gone a long way already to where they've got so far. I just don't see what we can add. In all honesty, I think it's, as Greg said, it's in the hands of the lawyers now, and I think we just have to see it play out properly. I don't. It's a difficult one. Like I say, they've come so far already that I just don't. Like I say, I don't see what much more we can add. But we all want to see transparency. So obviously we hope that arrives some way or another. And I think that's just it. Like I say, I think just sit back and see what happens now. It's in the hands of much smarter people than me, and probably most people on the board. Great. I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Honestly, I did not take a legal course before I signed up for the trust. I just think we need to sit back and see and look at the experts, take it forward now, and hopefully get the result that we want. We need to see one, and as soon as possible, and hopefully we get more answers than what we've had in the past.
One thing I will say on that, Thomas, and echo what you said there, is that a former colleague of mine in my working life, who is a lawyer, said to me he's worked with this guy, Robert O'Donoghue QC, and he is legitimately the best man in the business for what they're doing. So if they've got the best legal mind in the country on it, I mean, that's great for them, and good luck with that. Yeah,
it's excellent. Like I think from our perspective, we all do want the same thing. There is unity here. We want a takeover to happen. And I think that, as far as the trust goes, that's what we're saying. Like, yes, good luck. Like, this is credit to you. You've got the best legal mind in the country on this. Like,
absolutely, yeah, exactly.
Pretty amazing. So we had a couple of questions come in from Linda under the guise of Chris Johnson's pen. So that's not from Linda. That one's, where did we get that Leisure N.U.S.T mug from Chris?
It's a War Flag special. It's the Kevin Keegan quote that War Flags put up against Burnley. Yeah, it takes pride of place in my kitchen.
Excellent. The real question is from Linda: how will Greg and Thomas lead the board in deciding what our key priorities will be? Greg, do you want to?
That's a great question from Linda. Maybe one for next month's board meeting. Look, I mean, I meant what I said at the beginning. I think we've got a brilliant platform that, under Alex's leadership, to build the trust up from where it was with about 500 members, if that, barely had access to the bank account, and we didn't, and also to build it up to where it is now is phenomenal. And we still obviously have this election recently. We have a really strong board, all sorts of different minds on there. And I think our task now as a board is to decide how we take that forward and what our priorities are. I think there are a number of things that are really important. One is that we continue to run in a professional manner, and that we continue to be as effective as possible. Let's never forget that we're all just Newcastle fans doing this on top of our day jobs, on top of our family lives, because we want to try. We don't do this for ourselves. The hours that we put in, we don't do this for ourselves because we want to try and make a difference. So what can we have maximum impact on with, the relative minimal effort? So let's focus on those big impact things. So I'm, really keen in us trying to get involved in the fan-led review of football, because I think football governance is absolutely key. You know, Thomas has good links in with the FSA. We've heard from them on that. But I think it is important as well that we articulate our vision for how we continue to build. And I think one of the biggest things and the biggest challenges we have is to get the message offline. How do we get that message to build the trust off social media, you know, it's important there, but, you know, how do we get that message around? You know, 52,000 pre-COVID on a match day normally at St James's Park. Well, until this season when there's 10,000 empty seats. But you know, how do you get the message to all of those people who don't? I think the Newcastle, I don't know what other clubs are like. We're almost, it feels a bit unique in that social media bubbly type. I think we've seen with all the actions before, the boycotts and the, you know, it feels like on Twitter that, you know, there's going to be nobody there, and then you turn up and a few thousand walk out, or whatever that is. You know, we need to just get that message offline. But there's loads of areas as well in terms of that. How will we lead it? In terms of my, you know, it's a privilege for me to be asked to become the chair, and I think it's brilliant that we've got Thomas on board in terms of that vice chair role. But I think, you know, the board, it's all about personal responsibility really, and taking your area that we decide and delivering what you're working on for the betterment of our members and of our fans. And, you know, one of the great things we have aboard is we all get on, which means that we're all productive. And, you know, it's a really exciting time to continue the great work that's gone on in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm, as I say, reasonably new to the board, and I didn't know everybody on it when I first joined. But it's a really nice collaborative place to be. I think people are very open to ideas and to discussion and to helping each other, is my experience so far. And that is, you know, in a group of like, how many of us are there? Like,
9 on the board.
9 on the board plus 2 secretaries.
Yeah, 11 of us, you know, on those meetings, 2 minuting and things like that. But, you know, it's rare that you would sit in a meeting with 11 people and be like, these are all sound people. Like, I very rarely do that in my own working life. So, yes. And Thomas, is there anything else you wanted to add to what Greg said there?
I just do what everyone else tells us to do. I'm only joking. We listen to the members, and we see what's important to members at the time. You know, we've done that in the past with the ticket refunds, the season ticket refunds, with the takeover, with many things that we've helped out with. And it's important that we continue to, that's always our drive, and we then sit down and we put together our plans and see how we can actually help using the people that we know and how they can, the connections that we've got and how they can help. I think Greg touched on like the fan-led review. I think going back to what we were talking about the, you know, the lads taking the legal action from a trust point of view, for us, this goes above and beyond. This isn't just Newcastle United's problem. This is football, and one thing we can do as a trust is work with the FSA, who will be part of the fan-led review into football, and really push that side of things, and that's how we can help. It's needed because it needs to fix football, not just at Newcastle, across the board, across the football pyramid, and I feel that's what we can contribute towards. I think we'll have I think supporters trusts across the country will have a big part to play, and we have an even bigger job to play, in my opinion, because we have 14,000 members, or however many it is now. We're one of the biggest support organisations in the country, so our voice is massive. It's absolutely huge. Other clubs around the Premier League, they don't even have a percentage, like hardly a percentage of what we've got, and that just goes to show how much Newcastle fans want to be heard and want to shout from the rooftops about the problems that we're having, because no one else seems to listen. No one wants to listen to our problems, and we're finally getting into a situation where people are actually starting to sit up and listen because we've got a loud voice, and that's the thing that interests me the most, and that's how we take that going forward, and we form you know what our priorities will be.
Yeah, and for those who are listening and aren't exactly sure on the fan-led review, that is something, as Greg touched on in his opening words, that is something that was in the Conservative Party manifesto last year. Was it last year? Oh God, this year's been 100 years long, hasn't it? But that was something that they committed to in their manifesto, a fan-led review of football. And if you didn't watch our Q&A with Ian Mearns and Kev Miles, it's on our YouTube, so please do check it out, because it was a really, really good conversation with two really engaged people about the power of the collective fan voice and what change that can affect. And it is astonishing how how much needs to change and how much fans need to be consulted on it. It cannot be, the same sort of group of people making those decisions once again. So one question kind of off the back of that, in as much as it's about Parliament, Sean Wade has, friend of the trust, Sean Wade has asked what are the board's thoughts on the Parliament debate the other day with regards to supporters' trusts having a seat and a say at board level at the club. Greg?
Well, I think it goes without saying, actually, for all supporters' trusts, their aim is to have board representation. So what is our thoughts on that? Then that would be brilliant. But how do we achieve it? There's various ways of doing it. There's obviously the government-led approach, but there's also various other ways that it's been achieved in other clubs. But it's difficult. Football ownership at the top end of the Premier League is billionaires and sovereign states. But could it be with a percentage? Could it be with a percentage and a fan elected onto the board? Yeah. But yeah, our views is, that would be the utopia. It's a fan's game after all. But yeah, it's a lot of challenges there. So yeah, one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a dream, isn't it, Thomas?
Yeah, Sean's absolutely right. In terms of like linking towards supporters just having a seat on the board. I think one thing that highlights the issues that we're having in football right now is how much it's actually being debated in Parliament at the moment. I think that's key. I don't think I can't remember a time when football governance was being dragged through Parliament as much as what it has in the last 6 months. And I think we can help be that body that can help the club. I absolutely agree. A supporters trust should have a seat on the board at any football club across the pyramid. And I think if they did, you wouldn't have seen half of the clubs that have gone bust actually go bust. I think if fan representation was there, then football would be a much better place. And it's good to see that people are actually starting to sit up now. And going back to what you said before, Charlotte, about Ian Mearns and Kevin Miles, these are two very influential people, and they're both Newcastle fans. They're both season ticket holders in the Gallagher end. Mm-hmm. So we're relatively lucky that as a football club, we're backed by incredible people who are looking to right the wrongs in football, and we're just here to help.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so thanks and keep up the good work. Some really nice comments coming through. Thank you, everybody, for asking your questions and leaving your comments. I'm really happy about that. People corroborating what we're saying. Really, we are strong. We're a voice. We, as a fan base, are not happy. We've had one question come in offline that I've been sent via text. What is the trust's position on Steve Bruce? Reports saying it's just a vocal minority that don't think he's doing a good job. Surely it's something that needs addressed. Greg, what's the trust view on Steve Bruce?
Well, I think the trust's view is probably what came out in our member survey that we announced the results at the weekend. I'm trying not to laugh too hard, to be honest. Do
we have to give a political answer here? Or can we be brutally honest?
No, you can be brutally honest. Are you satisfied? Our poll: are you satisfied that the first team squad is taking strides in taking Newcastle to the next level? Yes. Was it just over 1 or 2%? I think. No, over 95%. Now, That's the view of our members. My personal view is Steve Bruce should never have got the job in the first place. What other Premier League club appoints Steve Bruce in 2018 or 19 or whenever it was? You know, Miguel Delaney, that gets a lot of stick from Newcastle fans, actually did a brilliant piece today when he talked to some people who know him, and he talked about in that piece talking around how he doesn't believe in tactics effectively. Is Steve Bruce's view is that if he has better players than enough other teams, that they will just get a result. I think that's evidenced on the pitch because there's no real direction and there's no real plan. And, you know, I think personally, you know, outdated. And, you know, if you compare what we had at the weekend against Chelsea, where we're set up in a similar formation to how Rafa would have set us up. I hate it always comes back to Rafa, but it does. But it was just to sit back and what was the plan? What was the tactics? When we had the same formation and a game plan under a modern manager previously, you know, the tactical shape and the positional discipline was absolutely brilliant. And we actually pressed in our own half and we made it really difficult. The fact that Carl Darlow has getting all these plaudits for making all these saves is brilliant for him, but he shouldn't have to be. He shouldn't have to be the fact that he's the leading saves in the league is actually a damning insight for how we play football. And I'm going to have to stop or I'll just rant.
Can I jump in now?
Over to you.
Let's we'll pull it back to board business after this.
I think for me, Bruce, obviously looking at the footballing side of things, which is utterly dreadful. The biggest problem for me with Bruce, right from the very beginning, not at no point did he try and endear himself to Newcastle United fans. Not once. It was always, you know, Rafa this, Rafa that. I think I'm the right man for the job. I'm one of you. I'm sorry, but you're not. You're not like me and my mates that go to the match every single week, home and away. You're not like us. You don't have the same feeling for Newcastle United as what we do, in my opinion. And I hate that narrative that continues to get pushed. I just think they could have done a lot more with Steve Bruce. Go and meet the fans. Go and talk to the fans. Put your point of view across to them, to their face. Don't just say it behind a press conference in some structured way that's been, you know, decided in a boardroom beforehand what you should say to the press. I just think he needs to come out and talk to Newcastle fans, and Newcastle fans will probably sit up and listen and actually respect them a little bit more. But I just from day one, I don't think that happened, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. And I just it does me head in because that was one of the things with Rafa. He you know, it's very easy. Oh, he got us. Yeah, I think he did, and he probably said the right things that kept us happy. But isn't that what you want to hear as a fan? You want to hear that your football club wants to progress and that you're not a stepping stone. You know, we're Newcastle United. That was exactly what he said. And I just think with Steve Bruce, he's never done that. He's never endeared himself to us. And I just feel that he helps belittle the football club as Mike Ashley's done for the last 13 years. I think he joins along with that, you know, our expectations and all this. It does me head in. It's so sad to see because, you know, we're quite a forgiving fan base, in my opinion. We're quite, you know, understanding. And I think we would, if things were done in the right way. And I always saw the benefit right from the start that Steve Bruce could come and talk to Newcastle fans, and he didn't. And I just think they went about it completely the wrong way. And that's been one of my biggest problems from the start. And I've just never been able to get behind them at all. I just can't do it. I really worry about where we're going to go in the future with this team. I think we're starting to see unrest. Or the players can't be happy playing this way. They just can't be. And I am concerned. But you know, come and talk to fans face to face. I know it's hard at the minute, but come and talk to fans face to face. Stop hiding behind press conferences and saying stupid things.
Progress is the key word for me.
Yeah.
Progress, right? Where's
Absolutely.
the progress? Now, he talks about a work in progress. We're 18 months in. Look at what the Southampton manager has done in progress. Look at what Graham Potter at Brighton's done in terms of an identity and a style. And Newcastle fans are happy with progress, and they're happy with a manager that believes that progress can be made and can go forward. Like, let's not forget, very different man, but the late, great Sir Bobby Robson, we finished 11th the season before. We finished 4th. But there was progress. Yes, we were mid-table, but we could see progress. You know, there's no progress here. Like, you know, it's 110 million, whatever it is, 4th year back up since that relegation. I'm struggling to see any progress, and I'm worried that they fall asleep at the wheel and we end up going down, if I'm honest, because we're not very good.
Yeah, there's a few comments in saying that relegation's a real worry. Let's pull this back to the Supporters Trust, because really we could have started at 8 and made it a Steve Bruce Newcastle United bashing broadcast, looking for an alliteration there, and we'd still be going, and we could keep going all night. But we're here to answer your questions, a little bit more about the trust. Of course, the state of play at Newcastle and the way that we're playing and who's our manager is one of the key things here that we're trying to affect change on. Like that it is important to discuss. All of this is linked through. I don't want to take away from talking about the football, because the state of the football is a product of the state of the club, and that's something that we are trying to band together to make a change to. So that is really important to talk about, and it is why we're all here, isn't it? Right, we're all Newcastle fans.
That's why we're Newcastle fans, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this one's from Linda as well. How will N.U.S.T and N.U.S.T, Newcastle United Supporters Trust, work with other Newcastle supporters groups? Which campaigns will we support and why? So there's many groups. There are many different causes affiliated with the club. Greg, how do you anticipate your work with them, if at all?
So I think the easiest thing to say to start with is that we're easy to contact. So if someone has an idea and wants to work with us, get in touch. And I think in terms of the various groups, the various initiatives, whatever that is, come and talk to us. I'm absolutely delighted with what we launched last week in terms of we're working with the foundation and the Be a Game Changer campaign. Some brilliant work there by Adam and Linda, been talking to the foundation and getting that up and running, and there's more to come on that next week. So yeah, and I think there is more that we can do with others, and we're open to those conversations. Had a couple of texts from Bill Corcoran of the NUFC Fans Food Bank. It would be great to speak to Bill, to however we can help them. Their match day collections aren't going ahead with the pandemic, and food poverty is going through the roof, their usage at the moment. So how can we help and get our message out there with our members? So I'll continue to speak to Bill on that. We're here to help, and so yeah. How will we choose and which ones campaigns? Well, it depends what the members want. We're a member-led organization at the end of the day. So we'll put it to the members there, really. Thomas, I don't know if you have anything to add on that. Sorry, Charlotte, I'm being host again. Sorry, I'm not going to do that.
No, it's fine.
I'm just cooling down from Steve Bruce.
I'm only going to stop you if you start talking about Steve Bruce again. You can host all you.
No, I won't. It's just my face feels really hot. So yeah, we, as Greg said, we are approachable. I feel like one of us or someone on the board will know someone from the many fan groups that we've got. We don't hate each other. We can all work together and strive for a common goal. If someone has a fantastic idea, if it's viable for us to get behind, then in terms of our remit as a supporters trust, then there's no reason why it would be off the table. We want to talk to as many people as we possibly can. That's the main thing. We need to. That's the point of a supporters trust, is talk to as many people as possible. And if someone's taking it upon themselves to set up a fan group, it's because they're passionate and they deserve to be, in my opinion, that they deserve to be listened to for putting their head out there and putting their voice out there. And that's the way forward with effective communication across the board. We don't get that from our own football club, so I think it's one thing that we have to strive for as a supporters trust.
Yeah. Okay. I would just add on that as well. Like, if you do have an idea or whatever it is reach out, drop us an email, ideally, because the way Twitter is, you just can't follow all of the tweets and all of the likes and all of the notifications, or else like your life gets ruined, basically. So if you've got an idea, drop us a line, board@nufctrust.co.uk, and we'll get in touch and we'll have a conversation. But we can't, unfortunately, track everything on Twitter, or else we'll just never have a life, I'm afraid, because just in terms of pure logistics, when you're at work during the day, when you're talking to your family in the evening, you know, unfortunately, you miss stuff on there. As great a platform as it is, so yeah, drop us an email, get in touch.
Yeah, I think that's key, isn't it? We are volunteers, and we can't monitor all the different groups and all the different. Like, some groups might not really want, you know, support, or some might be something that we don't know them. You know, I think we are a really open group. Most of us are on Twitter. My DMs are open. We all receive the board at N.U.S.T.trust.co.uk emails, and we can discuss them. And we're more than happy to, you know, set up time with people and chat through people's causes and see what way we can support if that's something that they want. I think that's definitely sort of the message I've got from being a part of. Oh, Greg's gone. Greg's gone.
He's had enough. He's quit.
Fair enough. Steve Bruce chat came out. Oh no, he's returned to it. There is a question: are we in talks with the protest groups? I mean, I suppose that suggests quite an active engagement in talks.
It's a difficult one, that one, because it must be stressed as well. The trust are not a protest group. We're a little bit more than that. You know, we are governed by a set of rules and things like that. You know, we do try to run things effectively. Not saying that protest groups aren't effective, because of course they are, but it's just we have to do things in a certain way. To say that we're in talk with them, are we in talk daily? No. As Greg said, we, you know, I'm sure I can't remember who said that, but we're volunteers. We are reachable. We will help when we can. It's just one of those that we just try and keep an eye on as much as we possibly can and go from there, really. To say we're in talks, it's a difficult one, because we're not really. And to be honest, I don't know who they are. I don't know what that means. I don't know who the protest groups are. I know there's a few out there, but I'm trying to, I don't know, I can't pinpoint them. But I feel like we've spoken to many people before, and we'll always help in any way that we can.
Mm-hmm. And lots of people like adding an extra G on my name, but I don't sell pasties or stotties, or nor do I have a bald head and appear on MasterChef.
So it's just the one J on Greg's name.
No, one at the beginning, one at the end.
No, just the one. You can pick where you put it, but it's just the one. Liam, N.U.S.T, do you have contact with the buyers like Newcastle Consortium Supporters Limited does? Well, we did. I wasn't around in the summer, but I know that Alex Piercy spoke to Amanda Staveley a couple of times. I know that she herself underlined this what a supporters trust. Greg, you mentioned that in your opening words there, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I know obviously Alex spoke to her a number of times, and yeah, they, you know, that line is there. If they want to get in touch, they know where we are.
Yeah, Alex has a number, Amanda. So do feel free to pick up the phone whenever you like. Oh dear, somebody's sorry, Greg.
Excellent.
Yeah, Geordie Viewer, there's so many great fan groups, fanzines, YouTube channels. There's only one fanzine, but that's fine. We can create a fan base to reach every fan. If you could just get in a chat with the main groups, you could back the legal challenge.
We actually did this a few months ago. There is a WhatsApp group with quite a lot of people, and you know, that was effective right at the start to push the message for the MPs to put pressure on the Premier League for transparency. So we have worked together in the past with a few people. I don't know if you spoke to everyone, but you know, we have worked with a few people. So it's worked in the past. There's no reason why. It's not like we all hate each other. I'm trying to find the right words to describe this situation, because it's quite difficult, isn't it? Yeah, we're all we all want the same thing. That's the main thing. We all want to take over, and we all want to see the end of Mike Ashley.
Yeah, absolutely right. Oh God, it's going to be such a sweet day when that day comes. And I say when, not if, because I do believe that it eventually will come. There was a nice idea from Geordie Viewer that we lend the money off PIF and then buy the club, default on the loan, and then PIF will own us.
I wish PIF would lend me some money.
I commend the creativity, but it does seem like you've shown your hand a bit too soon there before you even lent the money that you're going to default on the loan. So next time, keep your plan under wraps. Heidi would like to know, is the board currently supporting N.U.S.T? Disabled supporters may have some significant match day issues as supporters are allowed back in St James's Park. This is the Newcastle United Disabled Sports Association. Greg?
Yeah, so I mean, we've spoken with them in the past. I think it's one. I wish another board member who does more of that than me was here to answer the question. If I'm honest, Heidi, but yeah, absolutely. They play a key role in terms of that side of things. Working there on with the club. So yeah, we've had some conversations with them in the past, definitely, and we're very much open to continuing that going forward. I'm sure Linda could provide a far better answer to this question than I can. Yeah.
With the
but get yeah. I mean, there's a link there. We've spoken to them, definitely, and are happy to continue. They do absolutely brilliant work. And keen to support them in any way that they can. They have a formal relationship with the club as well. Brilliant organisation.
I'll jump in on that one as well. Obviously, at the recent meeting that we had with the club back in September, about the potential return that we were due to have in October to stadiums. Obviously, N.U.S.T were present, and they were quite vocal about the potential issues that they may face. They've got a really good relationship with the club. They do a fantastic job. There's not. Again, it's one of those that they probably don't need our help, because they're doing a fantastic job. They know their position better than what we do. So, but we want to have that communication with anyone to help if we possibly can. We had the council meeting last week, and someone hadn't even heard of N.U.S.T, so putting them in touch with them, that obviously really, really helps. But they have probably different issues to face going when we can obviously return to stadiums, and that's why they'll have a separate meeting with the club as well to go through certain issues that they might face, which is really, really important. But they're an ever present at any meeting with the club, which is obviously great to see. It's great to have that representation. So they're doing a fantastic job. Yeah,
well, Heidi's followed that up with that she has been trying to get in touch with N.U.S.T and been unsuccessful. Drop us as we say, we have links with them. Drop us an email at board@N.U.S.T Trust. We have a relationship with them, and we can maybe accelerate that response if we can. We absolutely do anything we can. And I think it makes a really good point as well about the purpose and the power, if you will, of supporters trust like ours. When we do go back to the stadiums, because we will be back eventually, we're the people, and N.U.S.T are the people that the club is going to come to ask, what issues do you think should be covered, what people, and the more diverse range of people that we represent, the better, so we can make the match going experience as comfortable and as pleasurable as it can be under Steve Bruce. Let's be real. As it can be. And I think, Thomas, you had a conversation with them, as you mentioned there, back in September about the return to stadiums. Would hope that, it's very unfair that Newcastle will be going into a tier 3, so that there won't be anybody in the stadium until at least the new year, probably, realistically. That is a shame, but I would hope that you're consulted again.
100%. We have to be. We absolutely have to be. And I suppose this is it's a good time to mention that obviously the Supporters Trust isn't here to help with the takeover. we have so many different things that we have to help Newcastle fans on. We help with the ticket refunds. We'll be helping with the return to stadiums. It's absolutely vital. And even the Sports Ground Safety Authority said that the most successful way, or the way to make it successful, is to liaise with the fans, the ones that this is actually going to affect. And that's really, really important. It is absolutely rubbish that we're in Tier 3, and obviously we won't have the opportunity of coming back. What would have been just in a few weeks' time against West Brom, wouldn't it? So, what kind of experience that would have been for 2,000 fans, and how they decide who those 2,000 are going to be is obviously another situation that I think we have to have a say on. I don't think it's right that the club just make that decision for us. I think it's absolutely vital that they seek our opinion, and don't just make that decision themselves. So yeah, it's that'll be an interesting one when we can eventually return, and hopefully that's as soon as possible, because obviously we want to see it happen.
It's really strange not being able to go. It feels like it's been just 100 years since I went to a game.
Honestly, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really weird. I was last at the West Brom game just before lockdown, really. Like, what was it, about 10 days before we locked down? So weird. We're coming up on the hour, and I don't think we have lots more questions. Excuse me. I don't think we have lots more questions, or any more questions actually, that we haven't really covered. I'm just giving it a quick scroll. Do type one out if you think that I haven't. Liam thinks we can get at least 20k fans at St James's Park. I mean, I'm with you.
Obviously the first guidance was going to be that it was a maximum of 33%, which is 17,500 fans in St James's Park. That's what it was meant to be back in October. To go from that to 2,000 is pretty rubbish, because they wouldn't have been able to get 17,500 in anyway. It would have been probably more about 12. But that would have been a complicated process. Never mind having to pick for 2,000. Absolutely no idea how they'll possibly do that. But it's a strange one. It's one that we've discussed, isn't it? That 2,000 fans at Newcastle's in St James's Park is nothing. Yet 2,000 fans or 4,000 fans, whatever tier you're in, at Bournemouth would be quite a lot, because their stadium's tiny. And that can actually have quite an impact on the team, whereas 2,000 or 4,000 fans at St James's Park probably won't make that much of a difference. The inconsistencies around that are quite incredible. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the future. It's really important for lower league clubs. Across the Northern League, 2,000 fans is probably quite a lot. So it's really great that they have the opportunity to get that back. That's really important. But in the Premier League, it's got to be an awful experience. Strange experience, one that I'm intrigued to see, but at the same time, I dare say I won't enjoy it. Be a strange one.
Yeah, agreed. It'd be very echoey. Being in St James's Park when it's been empty, we did a play on the pitch last year.
After that, yeah, it's weird.
It's so weird.
Strange. Yeah. We've been in the past with war flags, even when it's like dark and all the lights are off, and it's just a very eerie place.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's exactly what it would be like with these return to games. I think it'll just be rubbish. Be interesting to hear the management shouting from on the sideline. I dare say you'll probably hear us a little bit better as well if anyone had any complaints.
Maybe Steve Bruce lobbied for that tier 3 so that he didn't. All right, well, I think we'll end it there. Oh, quick question from Chris. Hang on. Quick question. It doesn't look quick.
Yeah, I can answer that one.
It's fair enough fans getting back into the ground, but has there been any thought about how fans get home safely? Not all fans drive. Public transport is average at best. And a late night game, maybe a struggle for people to get home. What's your thoughts? Thomas, do you want to jump in?
Yeah. Chris is absolutely right. The issue is not with the stadium. It's accepted that the stadium is going to be one of the safest places. The issue is the travel. The issue is, especially in Newcastle, the bars outside the stadium, the to and from, the game for fans, and the I suppose leaving the stadium. together? You know, would that be quite jam-packed? That's always been the biggest issue. I think they accept that the stadium is actually going to be one of the safest places that we've, or any of us have ever been to throughout lockdown. It is. Chris is absolutely right, and that is what they take into account. And I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing at the moment in terms of the travel. Because if you think about Newcastle, it can be quite a bottleneck around the stadium, can't it? You know, it is quite tight if you think about it around the ground. Everyone does huddle in together. You go to other places around the Premier League, there's sometimes a little bit more space. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things that they're taking into account. I think that's what's forced the decision.
Yeah. So, good question, Chris, and something that we, hopefully will be considering further if and when we get there. Greg, I'll come to you for a closing statement, if you don't mind.
Just to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our members. Really exciting time for Thomas and I and the board and yourself to really build on the great work and go forward. Like I said, we'll never apologize for wanting more members to build a louder voice. So if your mates and your family are not members, get them signed up. It doesn't cost you very much. And together we can have a stronger voice and make a difference for all of us. Thank you very much.
Excellently said. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for watching. We are going to do more of these. We are interactive, as we say. Our emails are open board at nufctrust.co.uk. At N.U.S.T Trust on Twitter. Please do get in touch with us if you have anything that you wish that we would cover. In the meantime, we'll say goodnight. Sorry in advance that we're all watching Crystal Palace tomorrow night beat us, but we'll see you again.